Hello, this is Lucretia with the Calm and Confident You podcast. And we are right in the middle of the holiday season. We all know that the holidays bring up mixed emotions. We know that the expectation is to be happy and excited and enthusiastic about shopping and decorating. As adults, we know that people can also feel sad or disappointed or lonely during the holidays. How does a person cope with the more negative feelings, and how can the more positive feelings be inspired? There are a few reasons why someone might feel down during the holidays. A big reason, and a common reason, is that the holidays can be expensive. People who are struggling financially might dread the season of gift giving. If someone is unemployed or has recently lost their job, or the household is running on one income rather than two incomes, money could be tight. Currently, we are dealing with inflation, and the prices of food and fuel are much higher than they were last year. So everyone's income is not stretching as far as it used to. And if there have been any unexpected large expenses within the last 6 months or so, some households are just under financial strain. Not being able to provide the number of gifts or the quality of gifts that people want to provide to their loved ones can cause them to feel bad. My own example is that I had shoulder surgery this summer, and I have been not going to work so that I can heal and grow stronger. I have been off of work long enough that now my income is starting to dwindle, and soon I will be having to withdraw from my emergency fund in order to cover my bills. This does increase my anxiety. I am counting on returning to work just a few days before Christmas. It will still be another couple of weeks after that before I finally receive a paycheck. My thinking is that I can struggle through and make it until then, as long as everything goes as planned. However, another emergency or losing my job would put me into a really bad position. Currently, I'm starting to feel the pressure of needing to be cautious and hold back on spending, just as it is time to buy Christmas presents. Another reason that people struggle around the holidays is grief. People pass away even when it is close to the holidays, leaving their loved ones to experience their loss even more intensely due to missing their presence during the time that families gather together. Even if it has been a few years since the loved one passed away, the holidays can stir up feelings of loss, which normally are not as noticeable. If there was any sort of complication or tragedy associated with the loss of the family or friend, that can make it even more difficult to be upbeat during the holidays. For myself, I always think of my mother, both over Thanksgiving and Christmas. While I was growing up, she really was the one who made the holidays happen. She would have my grandmother and my uncle over to our house and serve the meal with her nice china dishes and fancy silverware. At Christmas, she was the one who organized the purchasing and wrapping of gifts and the decorating of the tree and the rest of the home. She really is the one who created the magic of Christmas. Now, my dad played his part as well. He's the one who would put up the tree and the stand and the Christmas lights outdoors. He's the one who would keep a fire, a real fire, going in our real fireplace. And he's the one who every weekend leading up to Christmas was the announcer for a raffle that went on downtown in our small town. If you can't tell, both of my parents are deceased and are not around anymore. Another reason that people might struggle to be in the spirit of the holidays can be that their families are not as intact as they used to be. Many people live far away from their original family. Sometimes children have grown up and moved a distance away that doesn't lend themselves to traveling home as easily. Sometimes it is the parents who have retired and moved away. And many families have divorced or separated, which results in the loss of the sense of having a close family. Even without a formal divorce, relationships can be strained for various reasons, and there just isn't the joy, warmth, or the friendliness that people would desire. And another reason that people just might not be in the holiday mood when they are supposed to be is that the magic has just worn off. They are older, they're adults, they're working, they're supporting themselves. Maybe their values have changed, and celebrating the holidays just doesn't fit with where they are in life at this point. So it can be very difficult with all of the pressure in advertising and music and the traditions on display, which create a form of discord that causes the person to feel more like an outsider. It is as if the holidays are for other people. Before we all get too depressed, what are some things that you can do to feel better during the holiday season? Well, let me tell you what has worked for me so far. First, though it is only my adult son and myself now for Thanksgiving, I cleared off my messy table and used my mother's nice china. He and I are picky eaters, so we only get just what we want, which doesn't really feel like the family gatherings I grew up with. But last year I made a pumpkin pie and a pumpkin swirl cheesecake. This year I made those again in addition to our turkey. The cheesecake turned out even better than before. I commented on how well it turned out as I removed it from the oven. Later, as I ran a knife around the edge to separate it from the pan, I again commented on how pretty it was. The swirls really turned out. My son also commented that it really was pretty. He had noticed. Thanksgiving evening, my son said it was time for pumpkin pie. The day after, when he finally came downstairs, he announced that we needed to have cheesecake for breakfast, just like we had the year before. So now we have our own tradition. Also, on Thanksgiving Day, I sent Happy Thanksgiving text messages to a few friends and family who were happy to respond in kind. A day or so later, while driving on an errand, I turned on the radio with Christmas music playing. And I was happy to hear Christmas music. Today, I had my son put up outdoor Christmas lights, and I strung some lights around our living room. I no longer want a tree, which would only emphasize how few gifts we will have to exchange. I then set out my mother's nativity, which makes me think more of her and how it was special to her. I loved it as a kid because it plays Silent Night when you wind it up. I saw my son smile as I put the lights along the edge of the window. I will get a few small and practical gifts for my son, and he is now stressed about what to do for me and for his dad and for his stepmom. I think that's kind of funny. I also think it's good for him to learn how to give gifts. I will definitely be watching the movie Die Hard for the annual takeover of the Nakatomi Tower. And there, I am more in the mood, and the sadness related to my losses is pushed to the background. As far as that goes, in years past, a remembrance ceremony put on at church was something which helped me when I was grieving. This week going forward, think about what little things can help you to feel more festive. What decorations do you already have? Are there little things you can do that don't cost much money? Can you create a special atmosphere, such as with a scented candle? Is there some little thing you like that you can do again, which turns it into your own tradition? You have to have an open mind to things not being the same as they used to be, or as they supposedly should be. Take a little action to make things special for you. And by the way, there is one more day of my discount in my shop at growingemotionalstrength.com. So check that out. It ends Tuesday at midnight. And until next time, be well.